Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be reviewing The Book Thief by Markus, Zusak, and I'm going to start this review off spoiler free, and then I'll give a very clear warning before I start talking about any spoilers. And so, just to start off, just to kind of set up what this book is, because I knew nothing going in. I knew absolutely nothing, and I know that that's probably not how a lot of people are going to go, but I was recommended this book by my sister, and I didn't want to know anything. She said it's good, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just read it. Definitely, like right away, I'm like, oh, because what this book is it's told from the perspective of death, like basically the personification of death, the Grim Reaper. And it takes place in World War II, Nazi Germany. That is like the setting, and right away, that is a very eerie, depressing setting for a book. You literally have, because that's who's telling you the story is death, and he's telling you about this little girl, Liesel. She's the book thief, and it's basically telling you her story, but it's telling you through the eyes of death because this is a girl that has many instances with death, and so and this is just a time period where death was like, I guess, very present in the world, and so that's just such an eerie, dark, ominous feeling for a book. And so in terms of tone, I think that this book did exactly what it was trying to do. And so just props to the author for taking advantage of what was already a very using a lot of different kind of odes to historical events. And which also, just not to get off track from the point I was making, but this book I believe is a young adult book, and I'm like, I couldn't, like, with some, just the theme, there's some very, very dark themes in the book. I guess death being the darkest. I just was like, wow, young adult book. I definitely think adults could read it and take something away from it. But yeah, just the author did a good job of taking advantage of what was already just a very dark point in human history, and using that to set a tone. And that's not to say that this book didn't have any high points in terms of emotionals, but it's just like there's this overarching feeling of the weight of everything that's going on, and there are certain, not to spoil anything, but there are certain like events that happen, and as like someone from the outside knowing what's going on during this time period, it hits you pretty hard knowing what's going on. And yeah, so that in terms of tone, atmosphere, this book hits it out of the park. Very, very very well done in that regard. In terms of character, I felt very detached from almost all the characters. Death was honestly the most I felt the most attached to that character, if you could call it a character. But just Death's narrative throughout the story I found to be pretty engaging, and that was something I really enjoyed. But the people that Death is talking about, I felt very, very detached, and it took me a little bit to grow like an emotional attachment to them, to the point where I really cared about where their story was going. And as someone, like, I personally really, I'm a very character driven reader, so I didn't really enjoy that aspect. I will also say this book is written in a very, very abstract way, with lots of little, there's stuff where it'll be like a picture that someone drew, like that will be like a whole, like a page in the book, and there will be like these weird little like sections like in the middle of the text that have like stuff that like Death is saying, or like conversations, like instead of having the conversation just traditionally in the text, they will like have it in like a weird other section. Just very, very strange format, which I thought was ambitious, and I thought it really just fit with like such a dark tone and everything. Just having a book that's just kind of all over the place in terms of how it's written, I felt like fit. I don't know why, but it just felt like the way that it was written really fit with what the author was trying to do. And then other than that, I found the ending to be really, not to say, I won't say too much about the ending, but I enjoyed the ending, which was good. But yeah, overall, I would definitely recommend this book. I don't know if I would call it young adult. I don't know if that I would, definitely recommend this to like a 13-year-old. I feel like it does, it takes on some very mature tones, and I would, if you did give it to someone who is younger, I would recommend having maybe a conversation with them after or during. And also, I think some of the historical like little notes that it makes notes to, I feel like would just go over the heads of a lot of young adults. But other than that, I enjoyed it. Definitely look into it more. I wouldn't say pick it up if you're thinking about. I would say look into it a little bit more. And then I know there's also a movie. I haven't seen it, but yeah. And so now I'm gonna jump into the spoiler section. And so let me just start off with, I thought, like, okay, I'm a bit of a softie, so I get a little misty-eyed during some of the books. And I was actually surprised that I did not get more misty-eyed during parts of this book, because you'd think that this would be a book that, like, had the potential to have some really sad moments. But I just felt so kind of, there was this already overwhelming dark tone where, and that there's so many other bad things going on. I didn't really feel that at any point, except for at the very end when Max goes to visit Liesel, like when they're older. For some reason, I was just like, oh, that just made me really happy. The idea that those two got like reunited at a later point. So I did that's where I felt the misty. I also like just to go further into that abstract nature. I mean, the name Max isn't even said in that section. It is just the title of the chapter, and so you just like assume that the person that went to go visit Liesel is Max, and so it's just like weird stuff like that. But I feel like you have to like pay attention while you're reading it, and not to say that you shouldn't pay attention during other books, but you're really feeling it. And then really hit out of nowhere when the Himmel Street got bombed and everyone died. I was just I just really got hit out of nowhere by that. It just, I mean, talk about a very difficult life for Liesel. I didn't think that the whole book thief part of her character, I honestly didn't find that very super engaging, which is ironic because it's the title of the book is the book thief. But I don't know, I feel like there's like this very strong trope in most works of fiction to have either the main character or one of the side characters to be really into reading, and I feel like that's because a lot of people who read books and a lot of people who write books are really into reading, and so it's very relatable. And I just feel like that is such a common trope, and I just feel like this story didn't do anything super original with it. The importance of reading and everything, and I do think that it's important. Words are important and everything. I don't know, but just for some reason that just didn't hold a lot of originality for me. In a book that I felt like was very original with the way that it was written and everything. I loved like the little nuggets of foreshadowing that are all throughout the book. I mean, like just that people are gonna die in Liesel's life. That she's gonna be an important person. Like a whole bunch of things. I thought at the ending when Death kind of gave the book back to Liesel, the book that she'd written, I thought that was like a pretty cool scene. And that final line of like, "Oh, I'm haunted by humans," I found that to be. It didn't really hit it out of the park that I feel like the author maybe was hoping it for. I found it maybe a little cheesy. Also, I will say the picture book that that Max wrote for Liesel, I thought was pretty heartwarming. With the standover man and all that stuff. That part, honestly, maybe almost got me a little misty too, just because that Max has had just such a hard life. But also maybe that's one of the reasons why I feel like this book didn't have so many super sad moments for me. Is that it's a sad time period, and like I'm just the whole time I'm reading it, I know that there's a bunch of stuff going on, and so I feel like maybe that's why I felt that way. Rudy's fixation with Jesse Owens was interesting. I'm not really sure what the author was trying to do with that. Maybe to be a little comedic at some point. Maybe to just show this like. I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but it was just it was interesting. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I definitely, if you're at the spoiler section, that means you probably have read the book, and so I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And then if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you disagreed with anything I said, or if I got anything wrong, please leave a comment down below. But other than that, have a great day.